Oyez, oyez, oyez. Silence is commanded by this honorable commission. All those having business, draw near.
Thank you, and you may have a seat at this particular time. Let me do two things that I think will be vitally important. You have the pad yet? I don't see the pad. Where's the pad? Oh, there it is. Okay. First of all, please, ma'am, please, sir, check your cell phones. You heard the deputy say silence is commanded. Your cell phone go off, it's gonna go to the bed and breakfast we got on Carl Griffin Drive, and it's not easy to get it back, all right? So I wanna make sure you know that now. Please check your cell phones. Secondly, let me, before we begin anything, let me say that there will be a public hearing, all right? And which will be our third public hearing. Over to my right and to the manager's left, there's a pad. If you plan to speak during the public hearing, please, ma'am, please, sir, come in and sign up at this time. Now is an opportunity for you to come in and sign up for anyone who wants to speak. Please come up and sign in so that we won't have that kind of movement around as we go through these proceedings. Thank you. All right, is there anyone else now? All right, now, we have our neighbor who is here, and you saw me talking to her earlier because it's one of those things that eat at my core when I mispronounce people's names. So I told her, I said, don't get offended because I'm gonna say pastor, and then I want her to say her name so that you understand. But she's coming to us, she's at the Lutheran Church right next door, and she's coming to us to give us our inspiration and our invocation. And I'm going to ask you now, after her inspiration, when she gets ready for our invocation, then I'm going to ask all of you to stand again as we go through prayer. And then after the prayer, Commissioner Noah will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, all right? And so I won't pass, I'm going to do it just differently, all right? I got a script. I'm going to show you I got a script, all right? But I'm not going to read your script, all right? Because I know you're a Savannah native, all right? And I want you to introduce yourself to all that are here and introduce yourself to me. We pass each other going back and forth as I maneuver past the church, and I see you all out there working and see you working across on State Street. But please, ma'am, come and introduce yourself and give us your inspiration and then lead us in prayer.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, everybody, for having me here. It is a privilege to at least be able to get out of the building and cross the street and come inside this great facility. Again, my name is Vicar Audra Gaylor. I reside in District 1, Isle of Hope, where I grew up there in Sandfly and Norwood area most of my life. So I am your neighbor here, representing all who have come in. Whenever you see a need, it becomes your responsibility. I first heard this challenge during my daughter's senior year at Winder Barrow High School. Caitlin was being inducted into the anchor team led by the Pilot Club. Francis, a leader of the Pilot Club, delivered a speech and shared this with the team, the parents, and anyone who was within hearing distance. A need arose at the church office at Drayton and State, where a visitor arrived with a pushchair that required special assistance. And this happened to be during one of the busiest memorial services at the time, the one for Sonny Seiler, for which Cantor Tom and I were preparing. Cantor Tom rushed to direct her to the facilities, grabbed her a cup of coffee, and I was on the phone seeking assistance that was beyond our abilities, while printing a ton of funeral bulletins, and then the need arose, and we took responsibility. He and I call them Jesus tests. And as we all serve in public service, we are pillars of the coastal empire. The need is to consider the care and judgment of every item on the agenda as it affects our neighbors, whether they are a family, a child, or a small business. And the work we do is vital to those we serve, and it is sacred. It is easy to lose sight of the larger picture, but when we pause and reflect, we'll remember why each of us is called to serve. We will stand apart from those who are indifferent because of the different leadership styles. Our fairness will shine when we are inclusive. Our compassion will be evident when we listen closely. Our sense of ownership and responsibility will grow when we take the initiative and lend a hand. As we pursue justice, let's aim for decisions that are fair and inclusive, and let's walk humbly and remain open to listening, learning, and growing together in unity. Let us love all of creation as we have been loved through grace and mercy. In everything we do today, may we keep the public good at the center. May our conversations be respectful, our decisions be thoughtful, and our leadership worthy of trust that has been placed in all of us. Let us pray.
Please stand.
God of wisdom and peace, thank you for the opportunity to serve our community. Guide us as we make decisions. Grant us clarity, patience, wisdom, and a spirit of cooperation. Please help us lead with fairness, speak with kindness, and act with humility. Bless this meeting and everyone we serve, and may we accept the challenge to see the needs of those we serve and accept the responsibility to respond. May our work today reflect our highest hopes for this place and its people. Amen.
Amen. Commissioner Noah? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming to us and bringing us your words, Pastor, of inspiration and propelling us forward as we press toward the mark of the higher calling. And we know we all have a higher calling. We enjoy and we just hope that we do a lot of things together, since I'm here on this side and we are here on this side and you right over, so we can do things with your congregation and with your folks together. And so we look forward to working with you and to serving with you. Thank you and God bless you. All right, let us have roll call.
Chester A. Ellis, Chairman.
Present.
Bobby Lockett, District 3, Vice Chairman.
Present.
Melinda Scott Hodge, District 2, Chairman Pro Tem.
Present.
Anthony Wayne Noah, District 1.
Present.
Patrick K. Farrell, District 4.
Here.
Tanya Milton, District 5.
Present.
Aaron Whiteley, District 6. Dean Kicklighter, District 7.
Here.
Marcia Buford, District 8.
Here.
All right, thank you. Let me have a motion to open our third public hearing on the Chatham County 2025 millage.
Motion.
There's a
Second.
Properly motion and second that we open up the public hearing on the third hearing of the 2025 millage rate. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this hearing is being held in compliance with state law. The Chatham County Board of Commissioners have announced publicly its intent to increase the property taxes it will levy this year by 3.36% over the rollback millage rate for the general maintenance and operation taxes, by 48.99% over the rollback millage rate for the Special Service District tax, and by 3.43% over the rollback millage rate for Chatham Area Transit Authority. This gives the Board of Commissioners the option of adopting the millage rate recommended to balance the proposed budget. The purpose of this hearing is to provide members of the public the opportunity to comment. The advertised millage rate for the general fund is 10.518 mils, which is 0.342 mils higher than the calculated rollback millage rate of 10.176. The advertised millage rate for the Special Service District is 6.502 mils, which is 2.138 mils higher than the calculated rollback millage of 4.364. The advertised millage rate for the Chatham Area Transit Authority is 1.056 mils, which is 0.0235 mils higher than the calculated rollback millage rate of 1.021. Let me stop before I begin reading the rest of the statement that I'm mandated by state law. There will be no consideration of the Chatham Area Transit Authority millage rate on this particular meeting, all right, because we are in the midst of a court case and the judge will rule Monday, and that will affect that, and so we have to wait until the judge gets through doing his business before we can go forward. So Chatham Area Transit will not be on the acceptance of the millage rate today. A list is provided at the front of the room for you to record your name, address, as well as the group or organization you represent, if any. This will allow us to document the public input was solicited. We ask that you be brief and concise in your remarks, since there may be a number of people that may wish to speak. We want everyone to have an equal chance to be heard. Mr. Manager, how many do you have on that list? All right, now, is there anyone who came in late, who did not get an opportunity to sign? If you want to sign in to speak, please come up to the manager right now. Anyone else in here now? I'm going to give you an opportunity before we open the public hearing, give you the opportunity to have your say. And while they're signing, let me say to you now the first part of the statement that I read is state law, and it requires me to read that. And every year we have this thing where we say that about the state requiring us to read something that's actually not true, all right? And so, but that's mandated by state that I read it that way. Let me also take a point of personal privilege before anybody else comment that what you are seeing and what will happen, all right, against what was advertised. What happened with property tax in unincorporated Chatham County? Your total property tax are only going up 13.32%, even though a much higher and bigger number, 48.99, that is not the full picture, because we are not going up on your taxes 48.99, all right? Why the confusion? The general fund pays everyone in the county, by everyone in the county. Let me say, the millage rate that you will see for the unincorporated areas do not affect any of the municipalities: Savannah, Tybee, Garden City, Bloomingdale, Port Wentworth, Thunderbolt, all right? That does not affect you. The Special Service District only pays in people in unincorporated Chatham, and this will cover the Chatham Police, the fire, and the trash pickup. The general fund millage rate stays the same at 10.518 mils. The SSD millage rate goes up 2 mils to a total of 6.5 mills. The increase from 4.502 to 6.502 is a 48.99% increase, but it only applies to the SSD, and there are other factors in there besides the 2 mills that makes it 48.99%. Last year, the millage rate for the SSD, the general fund, was 10.518. This year, general fund plus the SSD, the total is 15.02 mills total. This year, 10.518 is from the general fund, 6.502 is from the special service district, which moves it to 17.02, all right? The total tax increase is 13.32, not 48.99. That's according to the state. There is no fire fee. The reason the fire fee had to go away is because the fire service was brought under the county as a department of the county. And so if you have a fire fee bill at your house, please bring it and turn it into the county, all right? You can scan it and email it to us, or you can bring it in person, but you should not be paying anybody a fire fee. If you have paid a fire fee this year or since July of last year, all right, if you paid a fire fee, then you need to come to the county and bring that in so we can straighten that out. Nobody should have a fire fee bill. None, no fire fee bills are. Okay. The good news, about 82% of the homeowners in the unincorporated area will pay less now that we have a fire tax rather than a fire fee, all right? With that, now, any commissioners got any comments they want to make? All right, if none, seeing none, hearing none, Mr. Manager, we go to your list.
Yes, sir. The first on the list is Clark Alexander.
Mr. Alexander, please come up, state your name, address, and if any group you represent. If you represent yourself, then that's fine.
I represent myself.
Okay,
My name's
state
Clark.
your name and address.
Hi, Clark Alexander. I live on Isle of Hope. We have a long history of a volunteer fire department that we pay an assessment every year to provide fire services to our community. And I was wondering what this commission is going to do for those of us that are happy with our fire service, that have been paying for decades to support that volunteer activity. Because if we all pay this fire tax, then what's the reason for our volunteer fire department to exist? And is it the intention for this commission to have them go out of business and destroy a longstanding part of our community?
All right, that's a question that the attorney y'all answer? Or the manager answer? Which one?
We roll the fire fee into the SSD millage. We will be looking at this issue over this year. It is our intention to work with Isle of Hope, and because we've got other municipalities that provide fire service to certain portions of the unincorporated area. So if the citizens want to keep Isle of Hope Fire, that's their choice. But they will have options. They can opt into letting the county provide fire service for them. That would be totally their option.
All right, so what we will do, I got the email from one of your constituents, or it may have been you. Here's what I did. All right, here's what I did. I sent it to the manager, the assistant manager, and the attorneys. All right, we are going to set up a meeting with you all in Isle of Hope. All right, to discuss your options and what you want to do. But we're not trying to run your volunteer fire service out of business. It's up to y'all whether y'all want to have that fire service or not. It's not up to us, all right? But now, again, let me say, We got to get out of having the same fire fee. We don't have a fire fee. The fire tax, okay? And the tax is connected to the SSD, all right?
Well, and, I mean, honestly, it's just another way of charging for fire service. I understand the legal ramifications of how you're classifying it. But, the terminology aside, I appreciate that the commission is thinking about how you're gonna accommodate, people that are happy with their service. And I will say that based on the estimates of what this increase in cost for the special services district will be, we pay less for our fire service than, we would under this tax, structure that you're proposing.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, next.
Thomas Grooms.
Yes, hello, everyone. I go by Tommy, but officially my name is Thomas Lafayette Grooms III. I'm a native Savannian with heritage going back to founding days here in Savannah. I'm a senior citizen in my mid-70s, a retired United States Air Force veteran, and a widower. I want to first and foremost recognize my County Commissioner, Pat Farrell, who's now announced his candidacy for the United States Congress in U.S. District 1 for Southeast Georgia, and commend him and wish him the best in that endeavor. Second off, I'm here representing myself and many other conservatives who I've reached out to and asked me to be here for them, some who are handicapped, not able to attend this meeting today, and are very concerned about rising their tax. I just attended the Board of Education meeting a few nights ago with my friend Pete Robine and a few others, and addressed something I wanted to mention to you as well. If any of you have been here for any period of time, you well know the people on Tybee Island. So many of the original residents down there no longer live down there because why? They've been taxed out of their homes. Their property values have gone up, and it's gone up tremendously, exponentially, as a result of short-term rentals and other things of that nature that literally pushed out the residents of that county, of that township. I live on Whitmarsh Island, and I'm beginning to see the same kind of thing out there, beginning to see short-term rentals out there. Again, property values going up as a result of that, and other variables as well. But you raise taxes, and our valuation of our homes is going up. Even if you say you don't raise it, you do raise it, and you know it's going to affect people like me. And there are going to be a lot of us, including these people I'm representing, like my sister, bless her heart, who has been diagnosed with a fatal condition, who cannot attend today. People like that who will be losing their homes and where they're going to go. Seriously, each one of you, look into your hearts, look into your mind and your hearts. Think about not only what you're voting for as far as the county employees and county infrastructure, but think about your own families. Think about your friends. Think about these people I represent too, who are going to be hurting and possibly lose their homes on the long-term end of this stick. Do not, I repeat, do not raise our taxes. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Kicklighter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to tell the gentleman, I understand your concerns, and as someone that's never voted for a property tax increase and will not start doing that today either, if you have filed your homestead exemption, Stevens Day applies, the value part will never run anyone out of their homes from what they buy it out. Now, when people raise the millage rate, that can run them out. But as far as the value goes, the amount you're taxed on is frozen from the day you filed that homestead exemption. So, yes, sir. So just everyone at home watching, make sure you filed your homestead exemption. And that's why partially what the chairman was explaining earlier, the state of Georgia has some of the most ignorant laws there is on the books. And that the one where they make local governments advertise they're increasing taxes if they're not actually rolling it back to offset the increase. The increase in the tax digest every year comes from commercial properties and new homeowners. Everyone else that's frozen their value, they're not getting a tax increase. So all those newcomers that we all have a love-hate relationship with, because we like some of the things that comes with it, but we also don't like having to pay the money for the roads and everything else it takes to accommodate them. It's them with that increase of the tax digest every year that's helping add a little bit more towards the budget. So that's why that whole thing with the state is a complete farce. They're really good at making themselves look good at the expense of others. I haven't noticed the state of Georgia get rid of our income taxes, but they're darn sure good at passing things that makes all the local governments look bad. But when you dig deep in it, it's just a absolute farce that they make that part of it happen. Like today, I'll be definitely voting against the tax increase in the special service district because Commissioner Farrell and myself presented two distinctively different ways that everything could have been funded without having a fire service fee and without increasing the millage rate. But in the end, media makes their money off of exploiting situations and creating hyperboles. In the end, although some of my co-workers up here will probably pass the tax increase, in the end, and although I'm against it because we presented ways to do it, if you deserve honesty from politicians, in the end, if your home's valued at $100,000 and they pass this $2 million increase, that's $80 more you would pay per year in taxes with a $2 million increase. I'm gonna go through these real quick for you. $150,000 would be, if your value of your home's $150,000, your tax would increase $120. $200,000, your tax would increase $160. $250, $200 a year. $300,000 home would be $240 increase. Okay, what was your fire fee?
$$35 a year, I believe, or 170, right, 170 a year is what we pay.
Okay, did we have them as low as 175?
Depends on square footage of the property.
Okay, well, you're one of the 30% that you may wind up paying. If it was 175, you may very well pay, if your home's valued at 300,000, you may pay $65 more a year. So that would absolutely, I understand. But sitting behind you could be a gentleman that, I don't know the value, but he very well may save. If his home's valued at $400,000, and that's $320 more a year. His fire fee may have been $400 or $500. I see he held his hand up. So he's gonna save $180 a year. So approximately 80% of the residents that has the Stevens Day bill, you're getting taxed, again, off of what you froze the value at. Okay, your home's valued at $300,000. Do you remember what the value is of your Stevens Day when you froze the amount? When you froze the amount they tax you on? How many years ago did you file it? Okay, then you're probably gonna save a lot of money if you filed it then when you built the home. So you'll probably save a lot. Again, I oppose this because we both presented ways it could be done without the increase and without the fee. But I promise the people that the direction they took, they're pretty much painted into a corner. They're gonna have to approve it or they'd be breaking laws at this point. You gotta have a balanced budget. But in the end, it's not going to hurt most people because of the Stevens Day. And most people will see a savings. But that does not sell newspapers, and that does not get people to tune in on television, and that does not fit the narrative of hating all the politicians. Sometimes there are people that try their best to do the right things, and I do believe the group has tried, and I wish that they would have listened to Pat and myself a little more and taken a little bit more, but I will tell you they utilized part of our recommendation, and they reduced the amount somewhat, or the millage rate would have gone up even more than 2. I just wish they would have went ahead and erased the full 2. But that's something I plan to keep working towards, and Pat, as long as he's here, and I'm sure others were pretty committed two working in that direction, hopefully in the future, they can totally wipe it out altogether. But, so just know you may very well save money is what I want you to know. So,
All right?
thank you.
Okay, let's go to the next, Ms. Manager. I'd rather you not.
I do want to address the citizen made comment about someone with health issues.
Okay, all right.
So we
now,
have.
Address him.
We do
Okay.
have Chatham County options for citizens who have advanced in age and also citizens who have health issues that may impact their ability to pay taxes.
All right, thank you.
Chairman.
All right, yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, to the gentleman who just spoke, we're asking that if you give us your contact information, we can look up today, what your projected taxes are, look at your, what the fire fee would have been, and give you a calculation to show you exactly what that would look like. So anyone who's here today, if you just give us your contact information, we can look that up for you and give you those exact numbers.
Right. Okay? And you have to do that individually, okay? Yeah. And so we can look on the sheet and get his contact information and get in touch with him. Huh? All right. Their contact information, just their name and address is on there? All right, so if you will, when you come up to speak, if you want the county to get in touch with you individually about your fire tax, then if you put your phone number on it, they'll make contact with you and then get your email and all the rest of it, okay? All right, go ahead now, Mr. Manager.
Yes, Mr. Pete Robin?
Robine. Mr. Chairman, this is a point of information. I've noticed throughout this proceeding this morning that we have referred to a fire tax. And I just want to be clear, there's no separate fire tax. It's the SSD.
Right.
It's just one SSD. There's not a separate tax. So when you're hearing fire tax, that is not to say that there is an additional tax. Ultimately, fire services will be included in the special
SSD.
service district budget, just as police services are. I just want to be clear on that.
Yeah, we'll say
Thank
that. All right, go ahead, sir.
Good morning. My name is Peter Robine, pronounced like a turbine. And I'm not
Address.
a homeowner here, so forgive me this question, but when did the fire tax bill, when was that, was that been in place for a long time, or is that something new?
It's new since last year, all
So
right? Last year, this body, we took the fire department and made it a department of the county, all right? So that's why it stopped being a fire fee. It started being a tax. And when we took that tax, we added that tax to the SSD. We added it to your regular taxes that you paid, all right? So right now, no one in Chatham County, in the unincorporated area, should have a fire tax because we did not send them out. Fire fee, we did not send them out, all right? So if you have one, you need to turn that back into the county so we can get to, but if, I'm saying it to the ones who do have a homeowners. He should have one and nobody else should have one. That's my point. Now go ahead and say what you had to say.
Yes, thank you for that clarification. Yeah, so, and thank you for, for your thoughtful response to my friend's question. But what struck me, because I remember like last year, people were outraged when they got a fire bill, like what? And so when, your point to, well, you're gonna save money off that, you're gonna be paying, some people, but who knows, whatever. Some people will save money over the tax bill, but some people will spend more money on the tax than they would if they paid the, you're talking about saving money on something that was a new bill anyway. And so people, it's kind of like, here, we'll give you the bad news, now we'll give you the good news. We're gonna save you money on that other bad news. You're still paying more money. Just as a point. But like, my comment is just basically a general point about raising taxes, which are inflationary. And like these days we have a lot of group identity politics. You know, this group thinks they're not being represented. That group thinks they're not being represented. You know what group is not being represented? It's the taxpayers.
I represent them,
Well, you know what? But now you're talking about raising taxes.
but I still represent them.
Well, you know, but if you represent, then you'll hear the concerns and you won't raise taxes.
I did hear your concern.
You know what I'm saying?
But I do know this too, sir.
Yeah,
All right? If his house catch on fire, he want a fire department there to put it out.
of course,
All right, so you gotta pay for the service.
of course.
All right, so we don't have a choice.
Yeah.
And Commissioner Kicklighter said itself, we kind of put it in a box. We've gotta have safe, effective,
No,
certified.
thanks. No, spare me. I appreciate
okay,
that.
all right.
We know that.
Okay,
Yeah.
then
Okay,
you know you
come
gotta
on.
pay for it.
Okay.
All right.
We need police. We need
Okay.
fire.
We
need
agree on
military.
that now.
We need safe borders.
Okay,
You know what I mean? These are all the
I don't
basics.
know about no borders
We
now.
need air. We need.
I don't
food.
deal with
Thank
borders.
you. Okay. So anyway, you know the point is, we have an intergenerational disparity of income. So when you have people age 70 years old or over, back in the day when we were working, I'm 69. Back in the day, I'm only 69. We earned money at this rate, and because of the incredible inflation, now people are earning money at this rate, but we're getting taxed as if, you know, the amount of money we save for retirement or whatever, it's peanuts compared to what in today's world income and spending costs are. Peanuts. So what we need to do is if you're gonna, you know, I understand costs are going up too for fixing roads. Everything's going up, but there needs to be a graduated system where people over 65, you know, you get a tax break. You know, over 70, you get an additional tax break. People who are veterans, you get another tax break. You know, people who are in the prime earning years of your life, you know, 18 to 65, you know, you're in today's world. You're operating. You're earning money on this level. You get taxed on that level. But once you stop working, I've not stopped working, and I never will. But once a person gets to a certain age, your income level was the money, the norm back in the 80s, you know, 70s, 80s, 90s, you know, 2000s. But the fiscal, the elevated inflation of today is like, how do we possibly live in
All right.
today's world?
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Please take us seriously.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. God bless you all.
If I may, since he addressed me specifically,
Okay.
quick like. Sir, thank you, and I want to try to clarify on one, and if you've ever watched me, I'm not good at getting it into one paragraph, but
Yeah.
I want to try to get this in one little paragraph for you, what I was trying to say. Had the commission taken my recommendation and Pat's recommendation, 100% of the unincorporated area property owners wouldn't have had a fire subscription fee, and they would not have had a millage rate increase. However, going the direction that it's going here today, there will be a millage rate increase, but 80% of the property owners in the unincorporated area will pay less monies per year than they do right this second. Catch 22. They're taking the harder way to explain that will actually benefit 80% more. It will increase that 20% more, but that 20% would most likely be the ones that you and I see on television when we're talking big money people. And big money people need their money too. That's why I proposed a way to do it without increasing taxes for anyone. But that did it in one
All right.
paragraph. I hope that helps explain
Let's
that.
go. Listen, here's, I want everybody on this commission to get me now. I don't want you addressing each other, all right? No matter what your fellow commissioner said, I don't want you to address what he said. if there's a question from the person who's speaking at the mic and you want to address that person, then address that, but don't address each other, okay? We on the same page? All right, we got it? All
We
right.
can address each other too.
Excuse me? You don't want me to dismiss you out of here either. So please, keep it to yourself. You're not recognized. All
Thank you,
right?
Mr. Chairman.
Silence is commanded.
I
Yes,
just
sir.
wanted to ask our manager, I love you, Dean. Mr. Chairman, excuse me, Mr. Manager, could you kind of elaborate on some of the legal ramifications had we moved too fast with switching everything to the SSD and whatnot? Can you just kind of elaborate on some of that? Because I do want to make it clear that though I do understand that there are other options, there's also a time and an order in which these options have to go into place. And I'd like the public to understand that as well.
Yes, sir. Under House Bill 513, it specifically states, and this is dealing with the service delivery strategy that each county has to adopt. It specifically states that any service that's primarily provided for the benefit of the unincorporated area must be paid by unincorporated area residents. We are in January of next year, we've got the opportunity to open back up the service delivery strategy. At that time and point, we intend to negotiate with the other cities to see if we can shift some of the burden from the SSD residents to the MNO. That is a negotiation, but absent of that, we're kind of stuck where we are. And I understand the argument that Commissioner Kicklight and Commissioner Farrell, I understand that wholeheartedly. We're just stuck with what we have today. We have shifted some, the revenue that we could have shifted from the MNO to the SSD, I think we've taken full advantage of that. There may be some other options that we're exploring, but we hadn't been able to get that done as of this date.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, and I appreciate your effort in looking into all options that we have. And again, I wanted to make sure that our community understood that we're looking into all options. And unfortunately, we just can't wave a magic wand in this instance and make it happen immediately.
And also, I would be remiss in reminding the board that when we were in this situation last year, it was determined that we would not levy a fire fee. We shifted because of legal challenges that we have. We shifted from a fire fee to incorporating that into the SSD millage. What we did this current year is we used reserves to fund the fire department this current fiscal year. So nobody should have received a fire fee bill, or we didn't see an increase in the current millage rate because we used reserves. We can't continue to do that, and this year is why staff's recommending this year a 2 mil increase to help cover the cost of the fire department.
Okay. Did we get you? Thank you, yes. All right. Commissioner Farrell?
Yes, a question for the county manager. Does House Bill 513 restrict the parties to the agreement from speaking until the date certain that you said, or is it open to renegotiation at the behest of one?
We can, yes, sir, we can request that we start negotiations. We could do it sooner. We haven't gotten any response to that.
Okay. So the 6 months from now is a target, but it's also a good way to kick the can down the road instead of addressing the serious issue in the present.
Yes, sir, and we don't intend to wait 6 months. We plan to start that sooner than that, but that's
You've already
kind of where we
started.
are now. Yeah, we've had some discussions, but we're gonna start formal
Yeah, we already
discussions soon.
started.
Yeah.
All right. And let me say this, so I'm gonna get this out. Okay. All right, let me get you first.
The difference between when it starts in January 1, 2026 and now is that there's nothing that forces the cities to sit down and go over this as SDS. We can only do that starting January 1, 2026, where there's an actual mechanism to make sure that they have to attend those.
So you
Do
can
you
talk
not-
now, but you can't, you gotta wait till January 1.
Yeah, they will not.
Yeah,
they
you
will
can
not
talk,
sit
but you
down
can,
with
but they
anything
gotta wait till January 1. You
Correct.
cannot go
There's
past the
no way
law.
to force that
And yes, sir.
until then.
I'm letting the lawyers talk now.
Yes, and just to piggyback on that a little bit is, just as Attorney Pretorius was saying, when you're trying to negotiate these service delivery strategies, you have to bring people to the table to be able to discuss. Oftentimes, as what we've found in previous experiences, unless there's some mandating language in the statute requiring them to be at the table, they're very reluctant to come. Under the current law that it will take effect in January, it has a language where they have to come and negotiate. So right now, we can be calling them and we can be addressing them, but there's nothing that mandates that they actually have to begin that discussion until January of 2026.
And now I'm gonna say what I said to the commissioners and the staff in the green room. I'm saying it publicly now, all right? We work with and negotiate with all the municipalities all the time, all right? Based upon the information given to us, the 2 mills increase will net us $14 million, all right? One of our folks in the room with us will want to talk about the 2 mills, but only if we agree to come up with $40 million more. So why would I give them $40 million more just to get $14 million? That makes no sense. So that's a null and void. That's not even a conversation I'm gonna have. I'll wait till January when we get into the but in the meantime, we do, but I'm not gonna give away 40 to get 14. That makes no sense, all right? And I'm the chief negotiator in the room, and I'm not telling you nothing that the manager and the assistant manager and the attorneys have not heard because they're in the room with me. I don't go in the room by myself. I go in the room with a team. And I'm not gonna negotiate to get you $40 million so I can get 14. It makes no sense. So we will not do that. All right, come on with next one, Mr. Mandy.
I have something.
Is it about what I said?
No.
Or what the manager said?
It's about,
Okay. So long as we stay on point, that's my
we are
point.
on point.
Okay.
Since we want to bring up legalities, and I tried to be nice here today, and I thought I did a really good job of being nice here today.
You're still being nice.
Legally, do we pick and choose which laws we follow and which ones we
No.
don't? All right, I'll make this easier. Is it legal to charge, to include fire services in a tax that covers one big area and not provide those services for the other people? Is that legal?
Yes, sir. If you're
When
doing
the
it-
other, when that portion's getting charged something for the service by an outside body, there's no way that can, if it
Yes.
is, then the laws are worse than I thought.
When you're doing a taxes aren't fair. They're not fair. They're inherently not fair. And what it says is if you're doing an SSD and you have a tax and you raise a tax, everybody pays into the tax, right? There are services that you currently pay for that you are never using and you will never use, but you're paying taxes for those services. It's the same thing with the fire department. The fire department will service the entire county. Whether you pay for that service, whether you ever use that service as a tax, you have to pay the tax. And the courts have upheld that multiple times. It says, no, a tax is inherently unfair. But everybody has to pay the tax, and that's the way that the county has to do that. There's no way for you to say, well, I didn't use that service. Everybody pays for it, whether you use the service or not.
We did not use the service, they're not allowed to have the service, is what I'm talking. There's a difference in not using the service and not being allowed to use the service.
That's the same thing. It's like a hospital. If they have a hospital that for certain people, that they will never use because this is the only hospital they can go to because of their insurance, they are paying taxes for that specific hospital as well. It's the same thing with a school. Some people don't have kids and have never had kids and don't have kids in that school, but they pay a school tax. Whether you have kids in the school or not, you're going to pay that. It's inherently, that's what I say, it's inherently unfair to have a tax. That's why when you all originally approved the fee, it was because we didn't want to have that unfairness. And then when we took over the fire department, you can no longer do a fee, you now have to do a tax. And yes, you're correct, it's inherently unfair to do it that way, but that is the way the taxes work. Taxes are unfair.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to cut to the chase and talk about the elephant in the room, and it goes directly at what my fellow commissioner just spoke about. Isle of Hope pays their fire department for a service, and I know that it can be renegotiated come January 1st. Will Chatham Fire be responding in Isle of Hope area from July 1st to December 31st because they're paying that tax for service?
We
The
don't
answer
have,
to that question is yes.
we don't have an agreement with,
Isle of Hope.
with them, Isle of Hope, as of this date, but we will talk to them, and
That's why I
we
told you
will
we would
provide
have the
backup
meeting.
service to them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What about all the people in my cities out in Pooler that out in the unincorporated area that's paying Pooler to protect them?
But that's what he told you. We
Yeah.
have to have an agreement with them.
That's, we don't, the citizens in Pooler don't pay SSD taxes, so they pay their own M&O taxes to the city for fire service.
Well, wouldn't it have been prudent of this body to have carved out a portion to cover their fire fees in that area? And to cover the fire fees in the other area? And that included in this big old tax jump that's gonna go on today?
There again, they pay the city of Pooler for fire service out there. We're not, this tax doesn't apply to the city of
Everybody
Pooler.
stop.
Yeah.
Please stop. Now, you promised me you're gonna stay on point.
That's
But, all right, no, this is not on point. Listen to what this says. Listen to what it says.
And on point is you're
This
not our key
is
negotiator, you're our
This
appointed.
is a public hearing in which we have decided to listen to the citizens. And y'all going back and forth with your points of views and things, all right? I want you to, if any commissioners up here want to answer to whatever citizen is asking us for directions or question, answer that. But let's not go back and forth with what we're doing, because that's what we're doing. We know that taxes aren't fair, all right? And we know I'm one of those that's 70 plus. But those taxes that come, I have to pay them anyway. All right, let's go to the next person, Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir. Debbie Rice Reagan.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I really hadn't planned to speak today. I just came because I'm a citizen, of course, interested in the needs of our county and the cost. But first of all, I'd like to thank you all for your service. I just want to share with you some perspectives, some experiences, some thoughts that an ordinary citizen would experience and feel, recognizing I don't have the complete picture of the county needs and all that goes into establishing taxes, and we as citizens trust you all to do that. Years ago, I remember getting a letter from Southside Fire Department that said they were $7 million in debt because not everyone subscribed to their service. Now that statement stuck with me because I run my household budget and I have to manage my costs. And it didn't seem true to me that you're $7 million in debt because not everybody subscribed, because Southside Fire is not serving the people that didn't subscribe. So that thought stuck with me. Seemed more like mismanagement or not managing cost or budget to me. But of course, we need fire services, and I rely on them too, so the county took that back over. First prioritized, and the county took them back over. And we had the fire fee tax. I'm aware that plaintiff Damon Smith filed a class action lawsuit for the, alleging that the fire fee is not a legal tax because it's not based on ad valorem or the value of a home. It was based on square footage and maybe land size and other factors. So I assume that I didn't get a fire fee bill last year because of the class action lawsuit. And I believe that that is true, and I've heard that mention some legal things that you mentioned there. Again, we need fire services. I'm in agreement with that. So now the county has to adjust the taxes to pay for the services that we need. So my concern is just that you are and I know that you are, but again, asking as a citizen, that you carefully consider the needs, carefully consider the cost, and raise the taxes only as much as are needed. I may ask the question, if taxes are increased, how often are they ever rolled back or reduced? Because from a citizen's perspective, once taxes are increased, the needs and the costs seem to grow to meet how much money comes in, and I don't recognize that less money is ever needed. It always seems to be more. This increase does seem to be pretty substantial. I think it's going to have it won't have as great an effect on a homestead property, which means you live in your house, you own your house, that's your homestead. It will have a greater effect, I believe, on rental property, of which I have several. I do rent below market value because housing affordability is a concern that can't just be addressed by your government. People have to take care of people. But any increases, I will pass on to my tenants. I won't absorb those costs. So again, thoughtful consideration. I also have a concern. Taxes increase not just when the millage rate increases, but when the value of your property increases. And there have been substantial increases in value over the past few years, especially since COVID. Many of those increases are legitimate. Housing prices jump because people buy property. So the taxable value of a house is set on January 1st of the current year based on the sales of similar properties in the same or similar neighborhood the year before. Not every sale can be considered a comparable to value your property. Georgia law defines fair market value sales. Those are labeled as qualified sales, and those are the ones used to value your property. So for example, if I sold a house to my son, that's not a fair market value sale because it's not going to be fair market value. In my personal experience, I've experienced twice, and I brought this to the attention, not to all the commissioners on this current body, but in previous years to every commissioner, to my county commissioner, to the county manager, not the current county manager. I will say too, filed the police report, contacted the district attorney's office. So what I experienced, and I did bring this to my taxpayer letter was presented at the February 6th Board of Assessors meeting, where I experienced property sales that were true fair market value sales according to Georgia law. I documented and copied, they were labeled as qualified sales, and then all of a sudden those records disappeared. It was changed to unqualified sales. I did 3 open records requests, got 3 different false and untrue answers over several years. All of this is documented. I can go into a lot of the history of what has happened, but I will tell you I have a current case in Superior Court that asked for a Superior Court judge for a writ of mandamus to compel the Board of Assessors to follow Georgia law in valuing property. I'm a citizen, I'm not an attorney, I'm fighting an attorney. We have a taxpayer-funded attorney that assists the Board of Assessors. So again, I'm just sharing with you a citizen's perspective and experience, not having the full picture, but I have experienced unfairness. I have experienced county leaders not following Georgia law while expecting me to follow Georgia law. And I just want to make sure that all the actions that you take are fair and are carefully considered. And again, I do thank you for your service. I want fire fees. I just want to make sure that everything is fair for citizens and things aren't hidden and that they are open. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Kegler, can you clarify that there was somewhat of a acquisition of a fire department for our unincorporated areas and help to shape the narrative of the fact that there was, in fact, ultimately an acquisition of a fire department?
Yes, ma'am. As the board knows and for the public, we started down this road when first the commission, as the citizen indicated, there were a number of folks who weren't paying the subscription fee, and Chatham Fire, Southside Fire, they were at the point of being insolvent and not being able to run their operations. They came to this commission and, asked for help. The first thing we did was we mandated that, through ordinance, that everybody be covered by some kind of fire protection. They still weren't able to collect all of the revenue that they needed to sustain their operation. At that point, the county entered into an agreement with Chatham Fire to collect fees for them and supply them with a budget. Because of certain issues in terms of their budgeting and their operation, we came to the point where this commission voted to take over and acquire the Chatham Fire. We did that, and we started out with a fire fee that we got the bugs worked out, and we thought that was going to be the end of it. Then we got notice of the lawsuit, which stated that the fire fee was an illegal tax. So based on that, we had no other option but to go in and roll the fire department into the SSD millage. As I indicated last year, for the current fiscal year, we used reserves so we could establish, digest, and get all of the mechanisms in place to roll that into the SSD millage. So last year, we used reserves to fund the fire department. And here we are today recommending a $2 million increase to continue to help fund the fire department.
All right, got your question?
Thank you.
All right, next, Mr. Manager. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see it. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Manager, what is the approximate budget in this, for the fire department in this upcoming fiscal year?
This upcoming fiscal year, it's approximately $21 million.
And the potential $2 million increase would net us how much?
About $14 million. A mill, projected mill in the SSD is about $7 million, a little $7 million.
All right, thank you. And then, when was the last time we did a rollback? Was that in fiscal year 22, 23?
It's 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I was trying to play that in my mind too.
Yeah.
But, huh?
22.
2022 is when we did the rollback.
And there was a rollback in SSD that year also.
2022 is when we did the rollback, and that has been solid. And that's the number we still dealing with the MNO right now.
Right.
The number we rolled back then.
I understand it. Thank you. I just wanted to share it with
Yeah,
I
I
think
got you.
ma'am, your concerns are absolutely valid. The fact that you're in court, I know there's only so much you can say. The question that you did rise as to when have we ever considered rolling back taxes, there you have it. But also, in 22, 23.
Is that when the governor sent money to reduce the property taxes? Or is that
No, ma'am. We rolled this millage back. We rolled the millage back in the special service district as well as the countywide MNO. But additionally, the other piece as it relates to funding the fire department, at least from my experience, having sat on Chatham Emergency Services Board, us having the county commission having acquired their assets, if you will, with the exception of their buildings, the millage increase only, should it go through, would only account for a portion of it, of the expense for the fire department. As you just heard, the budget is $21 million. So I want you to know that we are looking into every avenue. This is not easy. And I understand, like Mr. Robine and these gentlemen's concern about government doing everything we can. I understand, and I think this entire commission takes that role incredibly seriously. And we don't want to, no elected official wants to raise taxes, I'll tell you that, unless they are rogue. But nonetheless, I just wanted you to hear those things because you asked, when did we roll it back? Thank you.
All right, next.
Yes, Mr. Lawrence Rogers.
Yeah, my name is Lawrence Rogers. I live 103 Brandonwood Drive for the last 39 years. I'm a homeowner for 28 of the 39. I'm 80 years old. And you talking about going up on taxes. We don't get the services in the area where I live at, period. We don't get street sweepers. We don't get the ditches done right. We had a storm come through here. A tree fell all the way across Girard. Me and a few of the fellows pulled one part off. The rest of it stayed there for 4 months. The ditches had tree limbs in it. I mean, and you want to go up on services from Liberty Parkway all the way back to Girard Avenue, back up to Highway 17. The ditches, we got biggest mosquito plantation in Chatham County you ever seen. And they full right now today. And then you want to say, we need taxes to go up. When the storm came, all the county trucks worked 6 days a week. I drove over, they left. Street sweeper leave every day. We don't get it. When the storm was, that tree was out there, a man came through there and knocked the whole rail from under his truck one night. Streets wasn't moved still. Last time I talked about the county flooding, Miss Milton snatched the mic out my hand and I only talked 2 minutes. Snatched the mic completely out my hand. And my neighbors go, you don't have 25 people living in that area as long as I have. Right now today, from Highway 17 back. But you want to go up on services. I can't understand. Answer.
You looking for an answer?
Yes, me.
All right, let me say this to you about one of the things that you said. If a tree falls during a storm and it falls on public property, all right, the county will come up and cut that tree back to where it's on private property. We don't have the right to go on private property, all right? So that's why you saw them come and cut the tree and move that part, all right, and left the other part there is because they didn't have the authority to go on that property to move the rest of that tree. That becomes the homeowner's responsibility, all right? The ditch you're talking about, and you know I've been there because I came out to see what you were talking about. That ditch runs through private property. We have large equipment, all right? So if we send that large equipment over that private property, we're gonna create craters. As I told you, we're gonna create craters on that property, and then you're gonna want us to fix it. We don't have the authority to go on private property to clean out a ditch. It has to be the homeowner's responsibility. If it's a public ditch, as I said to you before, go into my Chatham, give us the address, give us the location, and that way you'll get a response from the manager and his staff as to when, how, and when they're going to clean that up. All right?
Something else to say?
That's the only thing I can answer to you.
I said, can I have something else to say? I run high hole, back hole, crane.
Sir, listen, you might be totally right. All right, you know I know. All right,
I know that.
All right, you know you ride jockey trucks and all the rest. I know you know I know that. All right, but I'm gonna say again, we cannot take a backhoe and go on people's property, on private property, and do any work because we're gonna create damage. We cannot take the other equipment we have and go on private property. When that damage is on private property, it becomes the homeowner's or the property owner's responsibility, not the county. And the places you're talking about that I went out there to see with my own eyes, because I wanted to make sure, because you know you and I go back to before sand was dirt, all right? You know, I went out there and saw it and I told you, what you were talking about is that's on the homeowner, that's on the property owner. He can rent it out, she can rent it out, she can live in it, but the county does not have the authority to go on there and take that large equipment and drive over their property, or take down a fence to go back in there and clean out something. We don't have that authority.
None of that apply to what I said. You take a backhoe and sit on the street and dig the ditch out. But
that ditch doesn't belong to the county. That's what I'm getting. You're not understanding.
It's on the county easement.
No, if it's on the county easement, you need to give us the address and location so I can get on the manager and them for not going out there and seeing it.
The whole Girard Avenue.
All right, then go. Please give that to the manager. All right.
He deserves it.
All right.
Thank you. May I say this one more thing? I've been all through Georgia. People don't do ditches no more. We got ditches going to nowhere. The water just sells. People got They get cement culvert or Teflon. Go all through Georgia. Ditches back then slavery time, back then in the 60s. They don't do ditches no more. But y'all don't want to spend the money. You could, I used to question the city when they put that Casey Canal, that pump station. You didn't have to do that. You can't pump water up here. And all of them used to get mad and walk off.
All right.
You can't pump water up here.
All right.
But that's all I got to say.
All right, thank you, sir. Next.
Laurie Salter.
Thank you. I'm Lori Sattler. I'm in District 4. I've been a homeowner in Savannah for 25 years. I'm not part of that 20% that Mr. Kicklighter was talking about, but I do want to advocate for that 20%. Homeowner prices have gone up exponentially since COVID, and we all know that. I don't think it's fair to put a burden of an additional tax on a homeowner that has paid a lot more money than I have 25 years ago. I believe that an equitable per house, per homeowner calculation is a better way to go, not based on what someone has paid, at least recently, and what their homestead exemption floor is. And if the county is to vote the increase today, I wanted to ask, in the future, will you look at alternative ways to calculate these fire taxes in a way that is legal, but it also is more equitable across the board per homeowner? The other comment I wanted to make is recently in the news, I read that the county awarded a contract for a new operations building, and there was supposedly a local bidder in Pooler that had a lower cost, and the contract was awarded at a higher cost based on best value, but some of that money that was awarded for that contract could have helped mitigate some of these taxes. I don't know, but it's a perception in the public that perhaps some of that money could have mitigated some of the increase in taxes. And those are my comments, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, let's go, Mr. Manager.
Lowell Quanowitz.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I wish I could speak as eloquently as Ms. Reagan.
Name, address, and phone number.
Pardon me, I'm Lowell Kronowitz. I live at 300 Bull Street. What was the last thing? Phone number, 912-660-8247. We're addressing our residents, and we should address our residents. I'm not going to speak for others, but I'm confident in the conversations I've had. Those who own commercial property are going to feel a great effect of what y'all will decide today. It seems as if it's predetermined based on the rules of a balanced budget, but as a business owner, I look at things when I spend our money, not OPM, not other people's money, from the bottom of the income statement up. And I'm sorry that this has gotten to this point where we're worrying about raising additional revenue and not addressing the expenses. And so where the line items are, I don't know. I'm not privileged to see, and I don't need to see. That's y'all's responsibility. But controlling expenses is, in my opinion, a better solution than raising taxes and revenues. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next.
And I'm gonna have to apologize for this, but Malakente.
All right, let him make sure you say it. And see, that's why you heard me say when the pastor was here, I don't say the name because I don't like messing up people's names.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. My name is Kaveh Malakuti. Kaveh Malakuti. Thank you for the opportunity. Like many of the citizens already mentioned, I believe in a balanced budget for sure. And a big part of that is, of course, controlling the expenses and also alternative sources of income.
Yeah.
Is this better? Thank you. When I look at the budget, when I looked at the the proposed budget that was posted online. When we go from 23 to 24, there was a 69 million increase. I'm referring to page 13 of the proposed budget. 69 million increase, roughly about 14% increase in the operating budget for the Chatham County. The 2025 proposed number, or number in there, is 959 million. That worries me. That's a substantial increase. And when I look underneath, what are the big items that move the needle? You know, we talked a lot about fire department and fire services. In total, that's an $18 million budget, page 21 of the budget proposed. That's not a substantial amount. We spent a lot of time talking about that, but that's not what moves the needle. When I look at what moves the needle, we're looking at merit increase and cost of living adjustment for the county workers, which is fair. We all have to get that. But for some of us who are on fixed income, and I think the majority of us here are on fixed income, I took no merit in 2025. Our company froze our wages. Last year, I took 2.5%. The year prior to that was 2%. So over these years, we got roughly 4 to 5% increase in our wages. Meanwhile, our property values, I live in a homestead, that value is frozen, but the millage went up. My total taxes have gone up about 10 to 15%, what I actually paid the county in taxes. So I'm squeezed paying more taxes. My wages don't go up. Like Debbie, I've invested in rental properties for my retirement. Now I have to pass that on to my renters. I never had to raise rent before. I let people live in there. If they're good renters, I just keep them the same. I don't raise the rent, but I have to. And now they look at me as a villain. Why are you raising my taxes? Well, because my rent, because my taxes are going up. So I'm being squeezed from both sides. And when I'm looking at alternative source of income, I look at what SCAD holds in Chatham County. Roughly $500 million in property. And they pay $171,000 in total taxes to the county. If we go per your proposed millage, that adds $7.6 million to our income. Why are we not considering that? Why are we spreading that on every citizen in the county? And when I look at controlling expenses, we have another 41 open positions in this year's budget, in this year's proposed budget. Do we actually need that many workers? Can we look at controlling expenses, please? Thank you.
All right. Next, Ms. Manager.
Tom Christensen.
Morning.
Morning.
Tom Christensen, 7714 Central Avenue. I'm representing the Isle of Hope Volunteer Fire Department. I am opposed to your tax increase. Almost everyone, as a matter of fact, everyone on Isle of Hope and Dutch Island is part of that 20%. Our fees are very low. We work real hard to keep them low. And over the years, we've provided an excellent service to our district. Actually, for the past 77 years, we've provided this service. We've never asked for any help from the county, and I don't want any help from the county now. But it looks like it's being forced upon me, and look, you're trying to get rid of our fire department that we're very proud of. I have 25 very good volunteers, and we do an excellent job protecting our community. And I'll put our record against any fire department in this county, and we've done a good job. I'd also like just say that I am opposed to the tax increase, and I wish that you could consider a different way of funding that will not affect our area unfairly, because it's definitely going to be an increase. It's going to, some people want 4 or 5 times what they're paying now, and I just don't think that's fair. And we won't get the service of Chatham Fire. We don't want that service. And the residents out there don't want that service, but yet we're going to be forced to pay for it. And I just don't think it's right, and that's what I got to say about it.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Manager.
Matt Gross.
All right, good morning,
Good morning.
Chairman, members. First of all, I wanted to thank each of you guys for
holding
Name,
this hearing.
name and address first.
Yes, sir. That's in the next paragraph that I put together in the car this morning. My name's Matt Sauce. I am at 84 Schley Avenue. But backing up a little bit, first of all, just wanted to thank each of you for holding this hearing and appreciate your attempt to be, receptive to the concerns and criticisms of the people that you represent. I'm excited to see so many people here speaking out. So many friends in the audience, especially, folks from my high school alma mater in the back of the room. Just wanted to shout you guys out. So that's really exciting to see. Good to see you guys. To introduce myself, my name, again, is Matt Sauce. I've lived in Savannah, Chatham County area for 27 of my 30 years. I'm representing myself as a member of this community, and I also represent a student political nonprofit called Young Americans for Liberty. Our focus is educating folks on the best, best ways to advocate for their rights. First, wanted to double down on the statements of Mr. Kicklighter from before. I greatly appreciate what he said about options for folks to consider when it comes to the rising costs that we face. I encourage folks to apply for the homestead exemption, but would go even further and would encourage folks to look at the senior exemption for the county school tax that you're able to apply for at 65, and then also appeal your new assessments from the Board of Assessors of your new homes and attend the corresponding hearing to attempt to lower the burden. I've just moved back to the area over the past couple of months and have just uncovered your proposal to increase our taxes over the past couple of days. I'd like to give folks a background as to exactly why I believe you're attempting to implement this tax hike. For those that might not be fully aware, the county established new regulations on volunteer firefighters over the past year. Even though they have to go through hundreds and thousands of hours of training and certification, the county established new regulations that prioritize liability over public safety. Since then, a wave of resignations has come from our volunteer fire force. They have gone from 100 plus to fewer than 15. More than a third of the manpower of the fire department is gone because of your new policies. Seems to me that this tax hike is a direct result of your new regulations that have pushed so many volunteer firefighters away. And now, you plan to use our money to make up for your mistakes. People are struggling mightily with inflation and the cost of living. You should be providing tax relief, not tax hikes. Regarding the millage rate proposals across the three governing bodies in this area, the city, the county, and the school board, the city is decreasing their millage rate according to a statement on Mayor Johnson's Facebook page. On top of that, the school board decreased their millage rate just this past Wednesday after hearing the concerns of the citizenry. But third, I would greatly encourage you guys to hear the concerns of the people here today and respond accordingly. For these reasons, I strongly oppose your proposal to increase the special service district tax millage rate exponentially and your proposal to keep the general millage rate at its current rate. Thank you so much. That's all that I have.
Thank you. Next.
Jonathan, that's Vazada.
Yeah, let him pronounce it when he gets here.
Hi. My name's Jonathan Vasada, 10 Penrose Cove. I just want to reiterate really quickly some of what my fellow citizens have said in regards to the weight that this will be placed on our residents here. We've seen 10% year-over-year effective inflation for the past 5 years. People are struggling, and the question I have, if recommendations were made that would allow this, from what I've gathered, so that these taxes wouldn't be necessary, why weren't those, what specific reasons were there that those recommendations could not or would not were implemented?
Answer to your question is, they were illegal.
They were what?
They were illegal.
They were illegal.
They were illegal. We heard from the municipal folks. We heard from the ACCG, which is one of our organizations. We took every suggestion and sat down with them, all right? And the last one that they came up with, that we would not be, you can go that way, but you're gonna probably wind up in a lawsuit, all right? so that we didn't take that route. The last thing they said was you can go back to the service delivery, all right, and see if you can't bargain in the service delivery, all right. When we tried some of that, that's when somebody wanted $40 more million than we were willing to give up, right? And then the other part is that you have to follow mandates of the state, all right? And so we looked at what we could move, and we did move it. What we couldn't move, we did not move it. And what was proposed to us by experts far knowledgeable than I am was this is risky or this is risky, all right? So we didn't take the risk. That's how I can answer to that, to your question.
Can you respond to that?
No, I can get them to, Mr. Farrell was first.
Okay, well, I was gonna save this for when we talked about the millage increase, but I'll go ahead and kind of lay it out in as shorter form as I can. The unincorporated area does not participate in the local option sales tax because of some state law that treats the unincorporated area as a municipality and asks them to pay for their specific services, but they do not participate in a portion of the $120 million plus that are raised for each penny of the local option sales tax, which is your fifth penny. If you've been here a long time, when I was a much younger man, we had a 4% sales tax. The fifth penny was the local option sales tax to help defray property taxes. So with that, as I became more accustomed to the budgeting process, I discovered that some expenses in the unincorporated area were paying that they were not obligated to pay for. And to credit the commission and the staff, the indirect costs were getting up to over $4 million going to the M&O. That is gone. What we found out was recently, within the last year and a half, was that we also have another anomaly in this county, and that is that our roads are completely, roads and drainage are under the special service district, which if it was a level playing field, that would make sense, but it's not. And we found out from our paid state lobbyist, Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, that we're the only county in Georgia out of 159 counties, Chatham County, this board for the last 40 or 50 years has placed that part of the budget under the unincorporated budget, that line item. We simply move that over to the larger budget, which, by the way, by my rough calculations, the tax digest increase in the M&O over the last 3 years has gone up $55 million without raising the millage because of the prosperity of this county and the tax digest increase with new construction, reassessments, you name it. So there's plenty of money over there to do that. If we simply move it, this year's requested Public Works budget is $13,416,359. Now, proposed is $12 million and change. Either way you look at it, that's pretty close to the $14 million that this millage raise is gonna take. If we simply move that over to the other budget, which has plenty of tax digest growth to cover it, and we would be in line with the other 158 counties out of 159 in Georgia, that would free up money that were already collected in the SSD that could be redirected to a much-needed, professional, well-staffed, well-equipped fire department for the public safety of our people. That is what myself, Mr. Kicklighter, and I believe Mr. Noah were asking the commission and the staff to work on. Our head negotiator said he couldn't couldn't get it done for whatever reasons, and he won't get it done, and he won't even look at it. That's what I believe he
And
just
that's not
told us.
breaking any laws then, right?
There's no laws being broken.
Okay.
This is our budget. We're your representatives. These 9 people represent the 100,000 people in the unincorporated area, similar to a mayor and city council. And we also wear another hat where we represent every person in the county, 300,000+ people, to cover countywide expenses. So there's nothing illegal about what we're talking about. It's just, can you make the deal or can you not make the
And
deal?
and that really is, I think the source of the question is why weren't those recommendations, what were the reasons why those recommendations weren't implemented and who opposed those recommendations?
Nobody sitting up here opposed those recommendations. We
Then why
looked
were
at
not
all
they-
of them.
Then
We
why
looked at all
weren't
of
they-
them.
Then why weren't they
And,
implemented?
because he said it himself. He wants the state, not this board, to let us use money out of the loss. And they said, no, that's illegal. That's why I said what I said.
That was a premise.
We cannot use that monies that the state tells us we cannot use, all right? And the manager said earlier, whoever received the service have to pay for it. Now, if we move the fire service over into the M&O, that means that we have to supply fire service for the whole county.
Nobody has recommended
See?
that, Mr. Chairman.
Then
You
you
might
can't
be
do that.
recommending that, but
Nope,
me and
you ain't never
Dean
heard me
and
make
Noah,
recommend that. Nope.
that I don't know where that's
All
coming
right,
from.
stop.
It sounds that
I
recommendations
answered
were
your
made
question.
that could have been implemented.
I answered your
What I'm really
question.
curious about is who stopped those recommendations from being implemented? Who specifically and why? That was really my
I
question.
was next,
All
Mr.
right.
Chairman. Had my hand up.
Okay, you next, go.
Thank you. And I would like to, sir, I just want to help elaborate a little bit on what Commissioner Farrell said. I think that we all heard earlier that the budget includes some of our recommendations, which actually shifts some of the monies from the M&O to offset the actual cost. And then we just heard the chairman say it's illegal.
Right.
So if the chairman.
Not the one we missed,
If the
not the one we
chairman's
moved.
statement is true, if his statement is true, then the chairman's own statement, they will pass an illegal budget today. I say this because stealing is illegal. It don't matter if you steal 1 car or if you steal 20 cars. It's illegal. So by his own statement, they're going to offset, take some of our recommendation. Illegal, come to jail, lock them up.
Those are not
If
the ones we
that's-
said
if
were
that's-
illegal.
If your
No,
statement is
no,
true.
no, stop
Okay,
it.
I was.
You
I
putting
have the
words in
floor.
my mouth.
I have the floor right now.
But you putting words in my
I have
mouth.
the floor right now.
And I
One
didn't say what you said.
car versus 20 cars makes no difference.
Right.
Commissioner Farrell was not saying that the money from lost should offset anything. Commissioner Farrell was giving an example of how state law allows unincorporated area residents to get screwed over. You not only
Thank you.
do not get your local option sales tax monies, you pay for help me, Pat, Georgia Power, all the
Franchise fees.
franchise fees. Unincorporated area pays franchise fees. You receive no money back for that. All the cities receives money back for that. There's millions upon millions of state law were to simply shift that would allow y'all to be treated actually right and would help quite a bit. But what we proposed was very much legal, and if it is illegal, they're going to pass an illegal budget today because they used part of it, and there's no such thing as partially stealing.
Then it should not be passed.
Yeah, you can't partially break the law. You're either breaking it or you're not. And they will be breaking the law today by partially taking our recommendations rather than the whole thing. If you're going to bite off a part of the apple, you may as well eat the whole dang thing.
Well, I want to thank you for making those recommendations.
Thank you.
sir.
Next,
You're welcome.
next.
Sheila Wright.
Good morning,
Good
everybody.
morning.
My name is Sheila Wright. I live at 1611 Staley Avenue. And y'all please forgive me because I'm not good at speaking in public. But I'm opposed to raising the taxes. My taxes, just like I've listened to a lot of people here today, my taxes went up pretty much doubled. When I got my taxes this year, they literally almost doubled city and county taxes. And now, and then just like Georgia Power, every time I look around, Georgia Power keeps going up. When I had 10 head of children in my home, my light bill was cheaper than what I pay now with just me and my one grandbaby. And as far as for the taxes and everything, I pay for all of this stuff. I pay the city and the county. And if I don't pay all of it at one time, they tax a fee on it. I'm sure not only to me, to everybody else. And then when you go talk to them and try to make arrangements, you know what they do? They'll make an arrangement, but they still gonna tax that fee to you. I don't call that trying to help at all. I'm being honest. I struggle. I work. You don't get a raise, but everything goes up. I pay the taxes. I can't get the city to come out to clean my ditches. Every time it rains, my front yard floods. I've called, and nobody said they're gonna get somebody. It's not my problem. It's storm. No, you won't. First, I got to go to garden of whatever they call it. And then they said you got to go to stormwater. Talk to them. Nobody comes. Then when you do get somebody, you get attitude. But this has been going on for me ever since I've been in. I've lived in my home for almost 30 years. And I can't ever get anything done. If I cut trees down, my branches, cut them up, put them on the side of the road, they'll sit there till they disintegrate. And I go by and pick them up. I have to go out there when I go out there and cut my grass. And don't talk about cutting the grass. As far as the city supposed to do the 5-year variance, I've cut mine ever since I've lived there. I have a new subdivision that lived that was building up next door to me. Had one resident. He didn't like it because he didn't like the way the road looked because he didn't want to see it when he come in his house. The city came out one time. That was the first time I was on my way to work. That was the first time. When I saw them out there cutting, I immediately went over there to them and asked them what were they doing. And they said that, I don't want to call my neighbor's name. He made a complaint. But I thought they was coming at me because one time the city came on my property and did some cutting, charged me $310, and I had to pay for that. I got no notice or anything. But somebody said that they can't go on property, or they came that day and they stuck it to me, and I had to pay.
You're talking about the city of Savannah?
Yes.
Well, that's not the county.
Well, the county, well, the city, whatever. But the county,
that's not the county.
Well, the county, look, I pay for county. County doesn't do anything for me either. They don't do anything. They don't come out. They don't come out. I see the county over the bridge, but they don't come down Staley. They don't come down Liberty Parkway or anywhere else and do no cleaning or anything. But I'm paying county taxes. But nobody clean my ditches. That's overflowing into my front yard. I'm just saying, where's the help? I pay for all these taxes and for the city and everything, but I don't get no help. Where's the help? What am I paying for? Refuge keep going up, and oh boy, if something miss and fall out the trash can, they leave it. So what are we paying for? I just want some help. Give me what I'm paying for.
Are you ready? All right. Let me. You say you live on Staley Avenue?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Your millage rate will not increase.
My taxes go up. My taxes is
Your
on-
tax, not from the county. Not from the county. The millage rate is still the same as it was last year. The same millage rate is still in place. And it's been there for the last 3 years. All right? All right, now, Commissioner Kicklighter.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am, I just want to explain a little bit. When they're talking about raising the millage rate today, they're talking about for the unincorporated area budget.
Not yours.
That's the SSD portion of the budget.
Well, I don't understand all
And,
this
well, I'm gonna
SSD
explain it,
stuff.
because I know a lot of people don't. All right, you live in the city of Savannah, so you pay Savannah for city taxes, and they're supposed to provide you with city services, which is basically everything you just said, your ditch and everything on your street and all of that good stuff. If you live in Chatham County, but you're not living in one of our cities in the county, in other words, I'm in Pooler, I pay Pooler taxes for that service. So if you live in Chatham, let's take Southbridge. They're not in a city at all. That's called the unincorporated area. That's the ones we're referring to today, is we have a dual role in a sense. Well, not in a sense, we have a dual role. We have to be their city government for the people that do not live in a city. And they pay their own tax for that, just like you do to be in Savannah. And with that money, we provide them police services and ditch services, just different, all the various city-type services. And that's what we're talking about today as far as what the proposed tax increase will be today. We really, for clarification for people in general, it would really be good. I've mentioned before, I would love to see the police department not even on the cars. To me, it should say unincorporated Chatham County Police Department, because by saying just Chatham County Police Department, it gives the illusion that they're policing the whole county, but they're not. They're just the police department paid for by the people living not in one of our cities to protect them. Same with this Chatham Fire Department. It should say unincorporated Chatham Fire Department if this passes, because that whole fire department will be funded by the property owners living in Chatham County that's not in one of our cities. So I hope that helps clear it up a little bit for you there.
No, taxes still go
We'll
up.
just call it Chatham City. It's a different
But
city
taxes still going
yeah,
up, and
but
they're gonna go up.
yours will not go up, as the chairman stated, and it's not gonna go up. This won't affect you today, so.
All right, let me hear from the attorney, then I'm coming.
And the reason that, and this is why they put that new House bill in place, is Chatham County, she is homestead, and her property value has stayed the same. But because the school and the city, there's increase, she will always get that increase because
They have a built-in
Because of the property
CPI,
value.
yes.
Because the property value in this county is going up everywhere. Yeah.
They
Yeah,
did,
all
but
of it's
the
going up.
county does not have that built-in increase.
Right.
City of Savannah has that built-in increase, thank you. And the school board
Board
has
has
that
that.
built-in
3% a year.
increase.
And it's not us.
But Chatham County
It's
does
not
not,
us.
and all of the
They keep
smaller
going up.
I
municipalities do
know,
not.
and they keep blaming us too. Come on,
I am.
Commissioner White.
I sure
I know,
am,
but
because
they are.
Don't go anywhere.
Thank you,
Commissioner
Mr.
White
Chairman.
wants
And
to
Ms.
address
Wright,
you.
Ms. Wright, the
Commissioner
other,
White wants
the other piece, so Andre said what I was gonna say, but the other piece, just in spirit of transparency, if you do see a county increase, it is due to, it would have been that, so the digest growth for the school system, that whole thing. But you said something about ACL Boulevard and Liberty Parkway and things like that. Now, that is our responsibility.
It's not Liberty Department.
The area around it.
Around there, where you talked about ditches and things of that nature that don't fall within the city of Savannah. Just so you know, you can ask for that work to be done. Whose district does she fall in?
I've asked.
5th District.
Okay.
I've
You've
asked.
spoke with Commissioner Milton?
I didn't speak to no commissioner. I called the 311 and I talked to
She talked to the city.
Right, and
I
that's,
even called them about the city parking on my driveway
right.
and cracked it up. And that was about 3 years ago. And they sent somebody out there. They put gravel in it. They didn't bring they didn't bring any concrete or anything. I know it comes off the road, and I was told that I don't know if the cities will take care of that. They said, well, the city's gonna take care of that because, you know, it's coming from off the road. So I don't know.
Right. What I'm speaking about is like the areas that don't fall within the city that you mentioned when somebody said you live in the city and you said, well, there's other places. We need to hear about that stuff. So, you know, if Commissioner Milton is your commissioner, make sure you share that with her so that we can address it. But oftentimes, if we don't know about it, we can't address it.
Okay.
But thank you for your comments too.
Thank you.
You have the community meetings once every, I think it's the third Monday every month. Come to those meetings and share your concerns. Dr. Shabazz is your city alderwoman. And if you would come to the meetings and share your concerns, we can try to help you as much as we can to get you to understand what we're doing.
And they work together. She and Alderwoman Shabazz work together. All right, next, Mr. Manager.
Calvin Crompton.
It's gone that much over the years. That's awful. Look what we've been surviving.
Good morning.
Morning.
I hope I can be heard okay.
Yeah. Say your name and address, go ahead.
Yes, sir. My name's Callum Crampton. I live in Savannah. And a lot of what I was going to say has already been brought up by previous speakers, so I'll be as brief as I can. I want to expand on, for one, the expense issue. I for one, don't think we need the newest and the best. I think, and I would advocate that we get the most for our dollars. I know it takes a lot of money to run fire departments and such, and I think there's a lot of ways that we can reduce the cost. As people have pointed out, we the people are not an endless well of funds, that we run out of money just like the budget runs out of money. Our taxes are going up, and these are needed services, and the county should do everything they can to keep that budget to get the most for their dollars. I'd rather have reliability over new paint on trucks. People have talked about the millage rate, and I'm sure we understand that it's only one part of the conversation. Naturally, our taxes are increasing because it's based on the property values, as you know. Everything else I was going to say has already been brought up. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. Next.
That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
All right, may I have a motion to close the public hearing? Is there a second? All right, properly motion to second that the public hearing be closed. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. Waiting on 8. All right, thank you. Public hearing is closed. Let me have the portable mic. PIO, can you hear me? Is out here already? All right. At this time, we're going into proclamations and special presentations, all right? That's the right one? Let's see. Yeah, good. Each year this time, we pause to invite special folks who come and as we celebrate Gullah Geechee Week, and we do the proclamation. If Queen, if you will come. Well, let me do this because I know they probably have to go back to work too. Let me pause for just a minute. Let me recognize all our constitutional officers. I walked down and I saw you a long time ago. There's our tax commissioner. I saw, didn't I see our clerk? Oh, there she go. All right, Yeah, you know. All right, I want to recognize, who else? I didn't see any others, did you? Okay. All right. Sir, can't do that. This proclamation, and I'm gonna go down, because you know I'm gonna let you do the talking, all right? Rather than me doing the talking. But this recognized Gullah Geechee Nation's Appreciation Week for 2025, all right? Now therefore, I, Chester Ellis, Chairman on behalf of the Chatham County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim July the 26th through August the 2nd as Gullah Geechee Nation Appreciation Week in Chatham County in recognition of the 25th anniversary of the Gullah Geechee Nation, and call upon all the citizens to participate in the celebrating the week in support of the activities happening locally and throughout the region under the theme 25 years of self-determination, celebrating the roots, the legacy of the Gullah Geechee Nation, and witness whereof I have hereto set my hand and caused the seal of Chatham County, Georgia, to be affixed this 27th day of June 2025. Let me give you that first, all right? And then let's make sure we get the picture done so PIO don't get on me.
Tippett, that way. Gotcha.
All right?
Good.
Also, to let you know how rare this is,
Okay then.
very seldom do I give folks the key to the county,
All right now.
because I don't want you opening no
So
doors.
I can kid you anytime I want, huh?
Yeah, you can come in, but don't be going in the wrong door.
Okay.
So
I ain't
want
gonna
to
broke in.
turn
I
that,
get
yeah,
in
don't
with the
broke
right
in.
lock.
That's
Oh,
right.
okay.
That's right. Tip it up.
Beautiful. Good.
Now with that, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you, thank you.
Put this right here, but make sure you carry it with
You know I could count.
Okay.
And it look like it gold too. I could check them out. I could get them up free as soon as I get out here. So it's such a blessing today. One more again, thank you to all the commissioners. And you know I have to take just a brief moment of silence for Commissioner Holmes. I say. Every year when I've been coming here, you know, I'm looking for him. Every time I get you, and that seat been open a while ago, and I say, oh, I see you over there, cuz. You've been sitting in your seat before you get your Commissioner Milton, for sure. And so it's a blessing today, one more again. I the Queen Quet, head from the body of the Gullah Geechee Nation, and 25 years been the queen of the Gullah Geechee Nation. So it's a blessing today you're in Chatham County, because this year the county, I don't know if the council members know, but this year the county where the Gullah Geechee Nation first write a constitution. Mm-hmm. So we constitution, we give birth to them right here in Chatham County. And when I yet everybody will been here today, on top of everything they're going through for whole bunny land, for whole bunny house, and all of this year. This is one of the things we've been a fight for all these years, before I've been queen, to make sure Gullah Geechees can not only hold funny land in the housing thing, but hold funny family and the culture and the community. And this your place, the one of we cities, is coastal empire. For we had a nation, this been the coastal empire. There plenty of people been to come from the Sea Islands to come into the city, so they could have get the thing for care back, or for send back from the island, or 100 children like for call we out in the country. Like y'all so big city over here, but y'all like for call we out in the country. So they used to send that money back where people hold on the land. So I understand all of what these people been to crack it teeth and say. I understand all but the flooding, because you know, Brother Chester, we don't crack we teeth, but dealing with climate change. That's right. Wrong ya. So that ditching thing ain't no work like it used to. They have to make them into bioswales. So we're still glad for work with you for do all of that, because we want this your place for stay above water. But we know right now some people feel below water because all the things were going on in the world and not having enough shiny thing for people what they need. But I can tell y'all, it's a blessing when you come forth and speak up and things like that. So plenty of time when people been to come here before, y'all would have never yet the people to crack your teeth like this shit, because they tell we would crack it if we would do them. So a lot of Gullah Geechees speak this way, especially in Chatham County, because people told us never to come into a facility like this talking like that, because they didn't value our culture
and our community, and especially our language that God gave us. But our very name, the word Gullah, means people blessed by God. And it has to be a blessing to still be here in Chatham County after all these centuries, not decades, in spite of everything else that has come and everybody else that has come that y'all talked about. We did dear, because we been here, and we ain't going nowhere tall. So I appreciate all of you that continue to work to uplift the cultural communities and cultural heritage here in Chatham County, and especially the fact that you celebrate Gullah Geechee Nation Appreciation Week every year. And every year I tell y'all the same thing. I can make them cross that bridge so y'all can make them cross that bridge to get to me. So I can tell y'all again now. And I like to see you, all my elected folks. I love seeing my sisters come celebrate with me today, but y'all need to come across the bridge. And one of the things we want you to come across the bridge for, I done gave all of y'all leads, and I have more for people in the community here. I can leave some on the count out there as well. Is the first thing on the back is next week, Friday, 4th of July. Juke Joint Jam. Y'all know what Juke Joint is. Y'all ain't that big city that you don't. We having that at Penn Center. And you flip it over, and you will see Gullah Geechee Family Day, which launches Gullah Geechee Nation Appreciation Week. The last Saturday in July, July 26th at noon at the historic Penn Center. And I would love it for each and every one of you to come over and celebrate with us. Get some of that good country food. Y'all want to say we out in the country, we're going to show you how we do in the country. Come get that food we grow and that we catch from the creek. And then we are going to conclude the week this year also at Penn Center with the first annual Gullah Geechee Books and Brunch. And so you'll have an opportunity to go into the York W. Bailey Museum at Penn Center and share in some good food. And it is such an honor because we try to feed the minds every year. And Dr. Teray is not here with me physically today because he's out feeding some other minds in the community. He just want me to tell y'all he gonna get y'all for changing the date. He thought it was gonna be next month. I said, no, sir. They had to do them with my calendar this year. So it's a blessing to be here and to have my sister Marlayo, who many of you know from Two Chefs Gullah Geechee Restaurant here in Savannah, who now has moved that to another platform to serve all these people that are coming through Airbnb every year. So when I come over, we usually go to their restaurant and eat. We're going to go to a different one today to celebrate this honor. But I just want to tell y'all I appreciate the work you're doing, but I pray, too, that you truly heard all the voices that spoke today, because we all know it's a trying time right now in the world. So we're continuing to pray for all of you as you do this work, praying for Chatham County, and praying that this whole world will become more of a blessed, peaceful place. And so as we always say, we be Gullah Geechee anointed people, and we pray that blessing be upon Chatham County some more. And I'm going to be looking for y'all, and I'm going to do a roll call, talking about the agenda. I'm going to do a roll call at Family Day to see how much of Chatham County did cross the bridge. And if y'all act up, I using my key. I can get in. Okay? So I won't be just over there singing a song, we in the front yard. I in the front yard with my key. Okay? Yes, and I'm Queen Quet, Chiefess of the Gullah Geechee. Blessed love to all of you. Yes, have a great week. I don't know why he coming back, you ain't getting the key back or nothing. You got another job.
Yeah, I got another job. You got the key and you gonna keep the key.
I will keep the key.
Right, you gonna keep the key.
I had to hold it tight.
All right, yeah, hold it tight. Let me ask now if the boy baseball team from Calvary, if you would come forward. That's all right. Yeah, just give me this one. I'll give those to the coach, all right? If you will, y'all don't be offended now. They're going to put their backs toward the commissioners, all right? Stand toward the so folks out here can see. Yeah, we'll get to the commissioner, but some of y'all come this way. Coach, you get in the middle. All the coaches get in the middle, and the players get on each side of the coach, all right? There you go. There you go. There you go. Again, we get the opportunity here on the county commission to congratulate and recognize champions. We did it with the basketball team, from our Little League basketball teams to our college here, who won their SIAC championship. And so we are so happy to present to you, each one of you, a certificate of congratulations presented to the Calvary Day Varsity baseball team for capturing the 24-25 GHSA Private State Basketball Championship with a sweep over Savannah Christian at the J.I. Clemens Stadium on May the 19th, 2025, all right, making it the school's third state championship in the sport. We salute you and we impress you, all right? And now let me give you that, Coach. Now, reach right behind you right there and give me those. There, yeah, give me those, right? I'm gonna give your assistants, and I'm gonna give all y'all, that's your job, all right? Each one of those have one of the team members' name on it, so we recognize them, all right? Each one of you, so that you can put that on your frame. That goes to the school, but these go to the individual players, okay? And the coach's own is in there too, all right? With that, I turn it over to you.
Thank you all very much for having us today. This is quite an honor, something that, you know, a lot of hard work and effort goes into each year for this, and so we're just super grateful. We had our banquet last week, and we were able to honor these guys and the coaches and everything with these accomplishments, but just want to thank you all for having us here today. Thank you guys for recognizing us, and we greatly appreciate your service, so thank you.
I go where you tell. You in the scale. You don't need to write my path. Okay. So long as I'm not blocking anybody out.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I'm going to ask our Human Resource Director to come to the podium as we recognize our county employees on their various years of service.
Can you hear me now? All right. With 30 years of service, Ms. Shauna Fry. 25 years of service, Miss Antoinette Fields. 20 years of service, Mr. Terry Tolbert. 20 years of service, Ms. Rebecca Beatty. 15 years of service, Lieutenant Samuel Williams. 15 years of service, Miss Linda Banks. 10 years of service, Miss Danielle Rhines Butler. 5 years of service, Corporal Morgan Washington. 5 years of service, Corporal Brandon Walker. 5 years of service, Deputy Sheriff Advance Lucretia Spratley Coote. 5 years of service, Deputy Sheriff Recruit Shatira Taylor with the Detention Center. 5 years of service, Miss Nicole Poulos. 5 years of service, Miss Alyssa Gay. And last but not least, Mr. Robert Catisse, 5 years of service.
You forget somebody? Did, all right. All right, we didn't have any chairman's items nor commissioner items. All right, we didn't have any table items. We go to items for individual action. All right, the following board appointments: reappoint Wayne Noah to the Chatham Area Transit Authority. Is there a motion? Properly motion is second that we reappoint Wayne Noah to the Chatham Area Transit. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. All right. Reappoint Bobby Lockett to the Chatham Area Transit Authority. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Properly motion is second. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. Yours working? Oh, great, there it is. All right. Reappoint Marcia Buford to the Chatham Area Transit Authority. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Properly motion is second. You ready for the question? Please cast your votes. Reappoint Gertrude Robinson to the Chatham Area Transit Authority. Is there a motion?
Second.
Properly motion is second. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. Okay. To request board approval of the following budget amendments and transfers in the general fund: A, transfer $56,000 from tax commissioner's salary to the vehicle account. B, transfer $140,000 from tax commissioner's salary to transfer out to the CIP fund. 2, in the special service district, transfer $520,000 from public works salary to transfer out to CIP fund. 3, in the CIP fund, A, increase transfer in from the general fund $140,000 to establish a tax commissioner's microphone system for $40,000 and increase the tax commissioner's equipment project for $100,000. B, increase transfers in from the special service district $520,000 to increase the public works contingency project. 4, in the sales tax 2 fund, amend project budget as listed below. In sales tax 7 fund, amend project budget as listed below. Is there a motion? All right, is there a second? Properly motion is second. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. All right. To adopt the fiscal year 2026 budget resolution and tax year 2025 millage levy resolution for the general fund M&O pursuant to OCGA 48532-1 and approve submittal of the tax year 2025 property tax digest to the Georgia Department of Revenue for approval, including Form PT-35, County Millage Rate Certificate, and Form PT-32-1, compensation of millage rate rollback percentage increase in the property tax for tax year 2025. The adoption millage rate will be 10.518. Is there a motion? All right, motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Properly motion and a second that we adopt. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. Okay. To adopt fiscal year 2025 budget resolution for Special Service District and adopt a millage levy resolution pursuant to OCGA 48-5-32.1. In addition, authorize the chairman to sign the Form PT-35 County Millage Rate Certificate and Form PT-32-1 compensation of millage rate rollback percentage increase in the property tax for the tax year 2025. The form are required to be certified and submitted to the Georgia Department of Revenue for digest approval for tax year 2025. The adopted rate will be 6.502. Is there a motion?
I so move.
Is there a second? Properly motion and second that the adopted. Are you ready for the question?
I'm not.
All right, one unreadiness. Okay.
Today, I'd like to ask the commissioners to table this item for 2 weeks till our next meeting for the purpose of instructing staff to look for alternative ways to balance this budget in the SSD without a millage increase, to include but not limited by the opportunity to move approximately $12 to $13 million of public works from the SSD budget, which we were told within the last year by ACCG that every other county in the state of Georgia puts in their general fund. So why do we have it in the wrong fund? I can't answer that question except that inertia has a powerful force when groups continue to do the same thing that they've always done. I asked for board consideration to instruct staff to move that part of the budget over, not limited to, and they have done a great job in looking at all avenues of keeping the millage rate from going any higher than necessary. But I believe with this one move, there is enough tax digest growth in the last 3 years in the general fund of approximately $55 million. Now, we know that not every penny of that is needed for inflation and higher cost of employees and that sort of thing. There is plenty of room in there to absorb the public works budget from the SSD without a millage increase in the M&O. And there's plenty of room. We'll get so close with that one item to properly funding what we all want to do and create the first-class Chatham County Fire Department. So I am unready to adopt item 4 on this, and I would ask that we vote it down today, table it, and instruct staff to overcome whatever legal and political obstacles there may be to get that part of our budget, the county commission's budget, rebalanced to avoid a millage increase. It is doable, it is legal, and it should be done, and it should be done now.
Any other unreadiness? Any other? All right, Commissioner Noah?
I concur with my fellow commissioner that we need to look at a different way. It's been proposed, and I'd like a clarification on the adoption of the budget by a certain deadline. What do we do with that? It's come to my attention that it has to be adopted, but can that not easily be adapted with a continuing resolution or some type of legal implement that we can actually give 2 weeks, let's see what else we can do, and move toward moving that whole budget over and not a portion as has been proposed.
So you're looking for the attorneys to give you an answer?
If you don't, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead.
And Board, if you don't adopt today, you would have to adopt the continuing resolution until such time as the SSD budget is approved.
So you have to go through the vote to see if you're doing.
But there is a legal channel to do that.
Yes, sir, you'd have to.
In another 2 weeks.
We'd have to adopt the continuing resolution today.
Okay, and another 2 weeks out of 52 weeks is a small amount of time to try to figure this out and move forward with moving the budget over. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say that I agree. I would love to see us do the same thing. And I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Been saying it a while. I'm not voting for tax increase, and we know there's better ways to do it without having to increase the taxes. And I'd like to see us pass the continuing resolution and knock this off of there where we don't have to raise the taxes. Thank you.
All right, anybody else? All right, let me say, as my unreadiness or my comment to what has been said, staff has done that, staff has looked at that, staff have tried that, and then they recommend to you what is before you now. So therefore, having all unreadiness covered, all right, the motion is to adopt, and so now, if all ready, please cast your votes. Everybody cast your votes. Cast your votes. Cast your votes. 6. Waiting on 6. Yep, waiting on 6. Something wrong with your line? All right, the budget is passed. To adopt fiscal year 2026 budget resolution for Chatham Compulsory Funds, Non-Major Special Revenue Fund, Debt Service Fund, and Capital Project Fund. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second? All right, properly motion is second. Are you ready for the question? Any unreadiness? Please cast your votes. All right. to request board approval for the Chatham County project list for the special purpose local option sales tax referendum to be held on November the 4th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Properly motion is second. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. Clear the board. Oh, gotta clear the board. Gotta clear the board. Now everybody vote. Everybody gotta push again. Waiting on 2. All right. All right, no one expressed anything about the action calendar, so may I have a motion to accept the action calendar in its entirety? Is there a second? Properly motion is second that we adopt the action calendar in its entirety. Clear the board. All right, all in readiness, cast your votes. Cast your votes. All right. We don't have any first readers. We don't have any second readers. Mr. Manager, we're in your hands.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. In front of you, got a number of updates and information that I want to highlight with you. The first is, and as we discussed earlier, and we have been received notification from Moody's that the county has been upgraded from a AA1 to a AAA status. That is extremely beneficial and something that this commission should be proud of. It's, we've been working this for quite some time, and I would like to publicly thank county management team and our county finance department for their hard work and dedication to make this happen. So this is a extremely proud day for county, and I want to again publicly thank staff for helping put this together, and particularly Mr. Chairman, your assistance and attending the meetings and helping tell the story of how Chatham County is progressing. So it is an extremely proud day for us. Next, we've got some information from the health department on schools, back to school screenings. We've got some updates from the Parks and Recreation Department and updates from the Human Resources Department announcing the annual Employee Appreciation and Health and Wellness Fair, and that's going to be Tuesday, June 22nd from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., and I think it's going to be at the In-Market Arena as we were last year. So that's my updates, Mr. Chairman, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that board members may have.
All right, Commissioner Farrell.
First of all, that is a major accomplishment to get a AAA bond rating at the local level here at the county. If only our federal government could follow our example, they would, this country would be in a wonderful, strong position. Anyway, that being said, congratulations to staff and all the hard work, because I know this was a multi-year process. The second thing, we got 4th of July coming up a week from today. Let's be sure that all our county flags are crisp and up to date and on the flag poles, and that we show our patriotism to the greatest country in America. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir. Go.
I'd like to again thank and congratulate the staff for the good job that we're doing with the protecting and
Increasing. Yeah.
Our rating. We're very proud of that, and I think we all should hold our heads up and be very proud of that. They did a great job.
Yes, sir.
I want to just echo the sentiments and give kudos to Director Davis and her team in finance. Thank you so much. I love how direct and professional she is, and even when we can get off on our tangents, she keeps us right on the money, especially her and Linda too. So shout out to you all. Thank you all and your team for what you have done, and I'm excited to see what's next. So thank you.
Good job. All right. That's right.
Yes, sir.
And let me say thank you too to all those entities that we had when the Moody people were in town, all right? And we went around to tell Chatham County story, all right? And again, I say to staff and I say to especially our finance department, and I want the public to know this. If there was another way to fund the fire service without doing the 2 mills, we would have done it, all right? We would have done it. But there was no way except that we put ourselves in legal jeopardy as to whether we could take that path or not take that path. And so we decided not to go that route because we have enough of those things that the attorneys are dealing with now, all right? And so no matter how we may appear, but one thing I want to say to all of the commissioners here, all right, we bicker, but we get along, all right? And we can come to a reasonable conclusion. And if it could have been done, it would have been done. Because I sent y'all back to look at it again, what, 30 or 40 times? Because I kept asking them, can we do this, can we do that? And I'm going to tell you now, when Ms. Davis lives in the unincorporated area, so it definitely affects her. So when her team comes in and say to me as the chairman, here's what we need for you to recommend because we can't do it any other way, just rest assured it cannot be done, all right? No matter what we think as politicians sitting up here, all right? Right now, if our state legislators had followed the course and things that we follow up here, we wouldn't be in court right now. But we in court because they did not follow what was supposed to have been followed and what should have been followed. And so I say to you again, all right, we tried, they tried, and when I say we, I'm talking about the team and Ms. Davis and those. She and her team deserve the best kudos that we can give them trying to get where the commission wanted to go, all right? Because I tell you from the very beginning, and they'll tell you, but I told them back in November, let's see how we can roll back something. If anything, let's see what we can roll back. And when they came back and said there's no way possible, all right, I have to accept that. And I have to accept their expertise in dealing with the facts and the figures. And I can honestly say to all of you, and you know it up here, if you ask them could they do it, and they went in and they tried it, and we go, the standard practice that I've had since I've been your chairman is the first thing anybody brings to my desk, I call in the lawyers. Tell me where we are legally with this thing, and they said, hey, you might be on a slippery slope. I'm not gonna slide, all right? So I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna stand pat and stay pat. And so when after that, then call in the management team that does finance, and when they tell me that they've done the best they could, but I say this, and I want to put this out to the community as well. All of you who live in the unincorporated Chatham County, if you will, call the manager's office, and they will have their team look at your specific fire costs, fire tax, all right? And they will give you a breakdown as to how it affects you. And honestly, when they were working on it, they were trying to get to 100%, but we could only get to 82, is it 82 or 85? 82% of all of Chatham County and the unincorporated area will see a decrease. And that's the best they could do. And I applaud them for that. That's why when we were with the Moody folks and we talked about how the budgeting process go and how we do, and the reserves and things we have, and the emergencies, funds and things we have in place, they were willing to give us the higher rating because of how well we are doing. Those plaques are not on that wall for free. That's hard work there. And trying to make sure that every dime, every penny, every quarter, every dollar, every $100 is counted for in the county's funds, all right? There is nothing out of place in the county's fund. And so as we celebrate the rate increase in our ratings, all right, the only thing we can say is job well done, all right? I wish we could do more, but we can say job well done. And so you make sure we get that over to staff. I hope they're watching on the network as we send it through there. and to the public, when you see our finance staff, they're one of the top in the state. They are one of the top in the state, and there are folks who call them to say, how did y'all do this or how did y'all do that? They take from us the way we are doing here in Chatham County, all right? And so with that now, there is a need for us to go in executive sessions.
I would like to say one more.
Sure, okay, go.
With respect, as the chairman said, we can disagree and do so respectfully. There's 159 counties in the state of Georgia, and approximately 155 of those 159 counties funds their streets, road projects through the M&O portion of the budget. At least. It could be more than the 155 because they could do what Commissioner Farrell said earlier and shift the 12 million. Right there is just one example that's legally to fund that portion under the M&O. And there's other things in there that's legal to fund that could be shifted, and it would cover all the cost. It's not rocket science. It's will. And if you shift the monies to the M&O, it could have been done in a manner with all of the new growth and everything, that the M&O is a large enough budget that we could have pinched pennies in other areas than the M&O, and there would have been no tax increase in the M&O, and there would be no tax increase in the SSD. It was as simple as wanting to follow where there's a will, there's a way. And, you know, when 155 counties does it one way, and we're one of the 4 that taxes the other way, we can't say that, you know, we're doing necessarily the right thing. So that's it. Thank you.
All right. Got it? Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Manager, can we prepare information in layman's terms for our constituency? Who's impacted, like maybe something that addresses a lot of the comments and the questions that came before us within the hearings, those things that are frequently asked questions, like for instance, none of my constituents are impacted. And so can we have information readily available, like what we're talking about, the assessment of whether or not you'll experience a decrease or an increase?
Yes, ma'am. Matter of fact, the public information team is putting that information together now. We've got some drafts that we're looking at, and we'll get it out to y'all.
Okay.
Because
Thank you.
it really depends on where you live, whether you're in the unincorporated area or one of the cities. It really impacts that, so we'll get that information out.
Thank you.
All right, did I get everybody? Yes, sir.
Let me make one more point. Had the county achieved this budget in the way that was described to move this one item from SSD to M&O, you would have no millage increase, and we've already established there'd be no fire fee. So for the 100,000 residents in the unincorporated area that this body represents and solely represents, that would have been quite an accomplishment to eliminate the fire fee with no tax increase. It's legal, it's possible, but it takes leadership and hard work and negotiation skills to get everything lined up. Now, because that wasn't done today, we still can work on that in the near future. And I challenge each of the commissioners up here to not let that go on the back burner, that it's still very possible and it should be done for the benefit of the 100,000 people that we represent. And so many of them were here today to let us know how they felt about it. So when you have the option to not raise taxes and reduce your fire fee to 0, that is a huge win for the folks that we and we alone represent in the unincorporated area. Thank you.
All right, got everybody? All right. There is a need for us to recess and go into executive session for acquisition, for litigation, and for appointment. May I have a motion? May I have a second? Properly motion is second that we recess to executive session. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. 2, 8. In recess.